When you consider what happened to them last season, Leicester, they again were in a very similar position, albeit that it took until the final game of the season last season for them to fall out of the top four. It is a bit of deja vu.
Yeah.
How big a concern is it in your mind, Gabby, that once again they've blown up at this vital part of this season?
I think first of all, winning the FA Cup, the scenes that we've seen was amazing for them. To get in the Europa League is amazing for them, but as much as people might say it's not disappointing, it is, because if you're Brendan Rodgers, he's come out and said, hasn't he, after the game, that he'll be hurting for a few days, because to be in the top four for so long, and I think they've been in the top four the most for the last 2 seasons, not just 1 season,
Yeah,
even
exactly.
even longer than Man City and Liverpool. So to not get in the Champions League again, I mean, he'll be so frustrated when you probably got the message that Chelsea were losing as well to Aston Villa, to know that you were going 1-0 up, then you went 2-1 up, to not just get it over the line. I think it might have a mental effect on them next season as well.
Do you think?
Yeah,
Really?
I think it will, because to do it 2 seasons in a row, how do they go about it next season? Chelsea will get stronger, Liverpool will get stronger, Man City, Man United will get stronger. So I think next season is going to be even harder for Leicester to get in the top 4.
You also have that inevitable question of if they had got into the top 4. We love the idea of Leicester as a project, and what Brendan Rodgers is achieving so far with them is brilliant. And the fact that, as you pointed out, they won the FA Cup for the first time, it's all pointing in the right direction for Leicester. But if they had been in the top 4, the sort of players they can go for may have been different to the players they are now going to have to go for if they want to add to their squad as well. That does have an impact, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Maybe if they got into the top 4, it would have been different conversations with the owners, where they go for a different sort of player who wants to play Champions League.
Yeah.
Some players don't want to play in the Europa League, they want to play in the big competition. So yeah, maybe it will change the players that they can attract, but it's just so frustrating. I mean, we done our job, Aston Villa, to help Leicester, but it's just a shame watching the games and just seeing them not just to get it over the line, because like we said in the FA Cup, everyone was rooting for Leicester in the FA Cup, the neutrals, and I think the same was yesterday.
Sounds as though you don't mind them being the best Midlands club.
Yeah, but I see it as Birmingham. We're separate to the Midlands.
All right.
I'm not good at geography, as you know.
I mean, yeah, ultimately, we spoke about it earlier on with Ali, and there is always going to be that tinge of disappointment for them. And Ali, Gabby made a really good point there about next season. Perhaps it will be a lot harder for them, because City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, they're all going to have to come back. They're all going to have to come back stronger as well, and perhaps this was their best opportunity for the next while for them to have made it into the top 4.
Do you know something? I can't argue with Gabby there, because I think that the other teams will strengthen it, and that there's been 1 or 2 disappointing seasons for one reason or another, whether it's injuries and things like that. So there will, and people will not want to be standing still. They want to move forward. They'll bring in the recruitment, but that's where I think, Gabby, that's where I think Leicester have been fantastic. Not just finishing just out of obviously Champions League places, having great campaigns, but mainly for me, Gab, the recruitment has been out of this world. It really has, and I think that's one of the reasons that they have managed to win the FA Cup, that they have managed to challenge for top 4. And I don't see that changing.
No, I don't.
I think the recruitment, arguably the recruitment's been the best out of the lot of them. When you think about it, we could say and mention half a dozen names. So I think as long as that continues, and they've certainly got a young enough squad, and they've got a coach who's really, really hungry. And you're right, by the way, sorry, Gabby, but you're absolutely 100% right. Yeah. There will be a tinge of disappointment. Of course there would be, it's natural. But still, I still think it's been an excellent season.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like you says there, the recruitment this season has got to be, they've got to get another winger. They're a bit short, wasn't they? They let Damari Gray go. Barnes got injured.
Barnes was a sore one.
Yeah, that was a sore one for them. But they've got to try and recruit another winger, just so they've got that, bigger squad, that if there is injuries, that they're not affected as much. Because I think that's what probably let them down towards the end of the season. That there was a bit too reliant on Vardy and Iheanacho, wasn't they? They're missing another winger for me.
Although having said that, Iheanacho, what a season it turned out to be for him. For a player that for a number of seasons hasn't lived up to that potential, and he was at Manchester City and then Leicester eventually bought him, and he hasn't quite lived up to it. But this season, He's taken to it well, and they've changed it slightly to play with 2 up front.
Yeah.
Been very different for Leicester, but he's done really well.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. Just, I think it's confidence for a striker as well. Ali will know when you score one, you score another one. You know, everything's going in, and then Vardy's the opposite's happening. He wasn't scoring, so definitely, I really like Leicester. I really hope they can get a few players, because Chelsea are going to strengthen. So as long as Leicester can strengthen as well in certain areas, they can fight for the top 4 definitely next season again.
And what also, as we've all mentioned already, the fact that they have something in their trophy cabinet this season that, as much as it is a disappointment that they will have missed out on the top 4, to know that they actually have won a trophy.
Yeah.
And you think about all the other teams across the country that have won nothing, it is an incredible achievement for Leicester to have done that. And I don't know, there will be Leicester fans as well who will be thinking, no, I really wanted to play in the Champions League next season. But it's not like they haven't played in the Champions League, because they did it when they were the Premier League champions, obviously. So to actually come away and won something that you've never won before,
I think as well,
right up there, obviously.
They finished above Spurs, Arsenal, Everton. So some of these so-called top 6 teams that everyone's talking about, Leicester, for me, they've overtaken them. So for me, Leicester have overtaken Spurs, Arsenal and Everton. So when we talk about top 6, Leicester are in there for me.
Yeah, and
it's funny, guys. I've got to say, Natalie, and you touched on it there. I think Leicester winning the cup is one of the highlights of the season for me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one of the reasons why. Because it just came off all that European Super League nonsense, right? With owners doing this and going behind people's backs. And then you get a story like Leicester winning the cup, and you get a story of seeing the owner getting brought onto the field by Schmeichel, cuddling the trophy. That's how an owner reacts. That's how an owner should be have interaction with his team and his management. And that, for me, honestly, and I'm effectively a Chelsea man, a Chelsea my team. But when I sat back and looked at it, I thought, how good has that been for the game, particularly the FA Cup? You know, because a lot of people, rightly or wrongly, have thought the FA Cup, the importance of it has gone downhill dramatically over the years. But you saw how much it meant to everybody involved with Leicester, and that was a highlight for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's hopefully when the dust has settled, Leicester fans, Leicester players will just realise what they've done this season. It's been pretty remarkable, and they did push the top 4 for as long as they did. So overall, it's been a pretty good season.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.